Hello and welcome to episode 79 of the DX Mentor, a discussion with Bob, WB2UBW, about his amateur radio journey, the Western Kentucky DX Association, and the upcoming DX workshop. In addition to Rob, we also have Brian, 88FD, with us today. I'm Bill, AJB. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. We have a back catalog covering many aspects of DX in both podcast and YouTube format. Please check us out. If you like what you find, please subscribe, like, and share to always be notified about upcoming events. Another way to keep in touch and to see what we're up to is via the DX Mentor Facebook page. I will be posting about upcoming podcasts as well as other DX events, so please follow us. You can check the show notes for any of the information that we discussed today. I'd like to give you an excerpt of an email that I received from N9 Oscar Victor Quebec. Quote, "Hi, Bill. I hope you excuse the long email, but I wanted you to know how grateful I am to discover your podcast. I just finished listening to a half a dozen episodes during my drive last weekend from Florida to Illinois. It made the 1,224-mile trip melt away like ice cube on a hot summer day. Thanks again for creating and maintaining this wonderful podcast. You are providing a great service to the amateur radio community, and I particularly enjoyed the Dave Minster NA2AA and the NY0V interviews." Well, that's absolutely great feedback, Mike, and thank you for that. He had a lot more information in his email that was pertinent to maybe some upcoming opportunities, but I didn't want to include that in here. But any comment you have, please send it to me at thedxmentor@gmail.com. Well, here's a bit about our guest today. Bob was first licensed as WN2 UBW in February of 1974. He bought a Hammerlin HX50A transmitter and used his father's realistic DX150A receiver. After stringing up a dipole for 80 meters, the fun began. Bob has operated from New York, Indiana, Ohio, Texas, back to Ohio, and now in Western Kentucky. His QTH is in Central City, Kentucky on 2.1 acres. He currently uses an Icom IC-7610 and an EdFend antenna for HF, as well as an Icom 9700 for VHF, UHF. You can find Bob active on most modes, including digital, PSK31 and FT8. Active on all bands from 160 through 440, he has also been getting into some 140, 144, 220, 432, and 1296 weak signal communications. I'll tell you, he is busy. He loves DXing, building, repairing, and rag chewing. Well, we also want to talk about the Western Kentucky DX Association. So here's a little about them. The WKYDXA is an amateur radio club in Bowling Green, Kentucky, dedicated to the pursuit of excellence in working other amateurs all over the world. The club was founded in the early 1980s. Since that time, the members have worked many DX stations during contests and regular day-to-day operations. Since its creation, the club has had several special event activities, including awarding a colorful certificate to any DX station that submits a log showing they worked 3 of our members, supporting a special event station for admirers of the Corvette sports car made only in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Each year, Bowling Green hosts a Corvette homecoming during which hundreds of Corvette owners visit the city. Setting up for field day each year and operating QRP, both CW and sideband, achieving national rankings as high as 4th in the categories have been achieved by this club. So I'm looking forward to this, and it sounds like we have a lot of ground to cover. So let's get started. Well, good evening and welcome to a very exciting edition of the DX Mentor. We don't often get an opportunity to get information out before a major DX event, so we're excited to be able to do that tonight. Joe couldn't be with us, but we have a great stand-in. But we have Brian, 88FD. Brian's going to jump in, and we also have Bob, WB2UBW, who's our real guest of honor. But Brian, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do in ham radio.
Yeah, Brian Baith, 88FD. A story like a lot of other people. I think in the 90s or whatever, I had my license. At that time, working a lot of repeaters and stuff. Let my license lapse because career and all that kind of stuff got in the way. But then about 10 years ago, got back into it and have been going pretty hardcore now that I can free up some more time. So yeah, I'm a SWDXA member, vice president. I run DX forums, local to the county here. I'm in the Oxcom group. So I'm really doing a lot, having a lot of fun chasing DX.
plus POTA, right? You do POTA?
Yep, Dupoda. Yep, a lot of stuff. Stay busy.
Yeah, and so how much fun was putting the DX forum together?
Oh, it always is, right? Like meeting all the different characters and it's a lot of fun. At least the leading up to it, it's kind of rough getting everybody, lined up and everything. But it's definitely fun to kind of talk to all the participants and hear the stories. And so I really enjoy it.
It's fun, Bob, because he'll say, "Okay, now you guys got 20 minutes." And 19 minutes into it, they're not off of slide three, and Brian's getting nervous. He's standing there with the big hook, right?
Yes.
So we also have Bob, WB2UBW. Bob, how'd you get, who are you and how'd you get started?
Well, got started when I was a teenager, 1974. My dad was a shortwave listener, and I always had boy, it was an old Howard receiver uh, in next to his bed in the bedroom, and he'd go in there and listen. I'd come in there and listen, and he was able to get even sideband. He'd tune it with a BFO. It didn't sound quite right, but you could monitor the sideband. I said, "Boy, I'd really like to do that." And um, at one point, I just said to myself, "Well, I'm gonna get some books." And the library was about half mile away. I walked up to the library, and lo and behold, they actually had some of the ARRL books and a license manual. And of course, at that time, the license manual covered all different classes of license. And there was one understanding amateur radio, which was just a tremendous help on the technical part of the hobby. And you got licensed back years ago. The tests were very technical, and even as a novice, some of the tests, they didn't really have a lot of leeway in the question pool that the testers, but took the test, passed it. Um, Back then, if you remember, you had to wait about 2 months to get your license in the mail, and you couldn't transmit until then. And the funny part of that is uh, W4MPY and some of the other QSL card manufacturers would send you a sample pack, and your call would be on the envelope, yet you didn't have the license and you couldn't transmit without
That's
the
Nice.
right.
license. So
Yeah, I
got the
remember.
license
I
as a
remember getting.
novice.
Wasn't it the
Uh,
little print shop? Didn't they send that
yeah,
out
little
in
print
Texas?
shop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them back then, and they were very competitive with each other. But from there, I took the general and advanced at the same time and passed it. Waited a year, took the extra, and failed it the first time. But it was right around finals in school, which was June, because you had to go to the federal building, and it was June was the only time I could take the test, and I'd rather study and pass my school tests. So I missed it and waited 3 months and took it again and passed it. Um, and from that point on, I had the extra. I didn't have to do any more testing. But when I first got into DXing, um, I had just put up a 15-meter antenna dipole. It was only 20 feet off the ground. And listening, I heard DX stations, and I just decided I'm gonna call CQ, and I called CQ at the bottom of the what was the novice band. I was still a novice at the time, and lo and behold, Lloyd and Iris Colvin, uh, they were using they were a 3D 2KG the expedition in Fiji, and I stayed on 15 meters for a couple hours and worked 4 or 5 more stations, different entities, and I said, "Well, this is it. I'm hooked on this." So uh, I started putting up better wire antennas and uh, got better radios, etc., and improved the DXCC count. And it's funny, I have 346 confirmed, yet I have never applied for DXCC.
Oh,
So I actually printed stuff out today. So I'm going to get in it. I've got several boxes of QSL cards I got to go through and see which LOTW contacts, but I don't have 9 band. Um, I'm 160. I've only got 85 countries confirmed, so I'll apply for it now, and that'll just be a sticker later.
yeah. Although there is a new 10 band DXCC plaque coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, this year. So, and I don't know if this helps you personally, but one of the guys coming with us to the workshop we're going to talk about is a card checker. So if you need a card checker to check anything off, I know Dave would do it. So, you probably all yours are legit. I'll bet they're all on LOTW, but if you have a couple that you need him to check to speed up the process, I know he can do that. So,
There's a lot of card only
okay.
ones. I've always been a QSL card collector, so uh, I hate to think of the dollar amount that I have
Oh,
spent to get these boxes of
Yes.
QSL cards, and I won't go into it because I know it costs more than my radios.
I
Nice.
about 20 or so years ago, we were at the DX dinner down in Dayton during Hamvention weekend, and Don Search was the guy's name, and he was in charge of the DX desk for a long time. And somebody came up to him. There was a whole group of us there, and he says, "I have this mail receipt that you received all 738 of my QSL cards." This guy had applied for everything you can imagine, all in one bundle. This was before LOTW. And he said, and when I called Newington, they couldn't find him. What are you going to do about it? And Don was like,
Mm.
well, we'll look around, but are they insured? Well, what difference does insurance make?
Yeah, it's
You
like
know? So there's part of me. I love QSL cards. I collect and Brian and I are both bureau card sorters and all that stuff. But boy, you cannot beat having it in LOTW so you know it's
no,
there. You
exactly.
know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
forever.
Wow. So have you ever chosen to be the DX?
No,
Okay.
I have not. When I was working, I averaged 60 to 70 hours a week, and um, my vacations were spent with family, so it just never came up. I really would love to have done it, and physically, I don't know that I can right, from this point on, but maybe something small and not too far away, not definitely not a buffet.
Now, Brian, you've done some POTA from like Chile and some other places, right?
Yeah, Argentina. And
Argentina.
then like when anytime I'm traveling, I always take a radio with me, and yeah, even just working from the hotel room, or yeah, sometimes though if I can get out and do, activate a park or something like that, I do. So I try. Yeah.
And what's that like? Kind of going to Argentina and getting everything set up and
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, like, right. It's just like I think it's dealing with the logistics and stuff like that of taking, getting the license, taking the radio down, getting everything through customs and making everybody feel happy. It's definitely a much harder than like going to a park around here. So it adds a little extra to it. And then it's just it's a whole different propagation and stuff like that, right? I mean, it's a whole different part of the world where you're kind of used to how it is when you're at home, and you know what time of the year it is, so you roughly know how it'll be. Well, you go on the other side of the equator and there's a significant difference. So,
yeah, yeah. So,
yes.
Bob, what kind of equipment you're sitting in your shack, and what kind of equipment do you use on a regular basis?
I have an Icom 7610 hooked to a PW1, and I use that for CW phone. Um, and I have a Yaesu FT2000D that I use on digital. And the only reason I have that running digital is it's a 200-watt radio and runs super cool. If something comes up I need, and I kind of go away from that 40 watts that I normally run, and I can put it up to 200, and and put one in the log if I have to.
So that would be FT8. Do you operate other
Yeah.
modes as well?
I operate CW. I'm still big on CW, phone, RIDI. Um, when when there's activity, there just hasn't been a lot of teletype activity over the last few years, and a lot of that is people switch from that to FT8, FT4, and but I also play around with 2 meter FT8, 62 different grids so far, and that's with a vertical at 32 foot.
Wow.
I don't even run a horizontal. Again, due to some issues, I haven't been able to put my towers up. So,
Yeah.
like I said, that's one of those things. It's going to happen whether I do it or someone else puts it
Does
up
it?
for me. So,
So are you familiar with the CW tests that go every Wednesday from the CW Ops organization?
no.
Okay, they have a it's every Wednesday. Oh, I'm drawing a blank now. There's three 1 hour slots, and everyone just gets on and tries to work each other to keep their code speed up. Well, a RIDI group is doing that on Thursday nights. And
Okay.
I've had an absolute blast with these guys. And it's a whole bunch of guys that are either on 20 or 40. And yeah, it's the same guys every week, but it's fun to dust off the equipment and get on and chat with them a little bit. And that's been a lot of fun. I'd say Riddy was dead, but this has been pretty active. So it's kind of,
Well, that's good.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the end of September and see what might be on for the, do they still call it the CQ Worldwide Riddy, or is it CQ Worldwide Digital now? Or I don't even know.
I think
No,
it's still,
yeah, there's specific ready contest, yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
really, I think it's still
Yeah.
really.
Wow. So
And
you,
every once in a while, an expedition still does ready. So that's always kind of fun.
yeah, yeah. So, Bob, you said you haven't gotten the antennas to where you'd like them, but you're obviously on the air. So, what are you transmitting with?
I'm using an end fed that the feed point's at about 15 feet, and the end of it is up in a fairly tall tree, so it sits at about a 45-degree angle. It works well, but it becomes directional, especially on the higher frequencies. So I'm losing a lot. I need to put up something else that's broadside to that. I've got some real monster trees. I've got these big oak trees out here that are 70, 80 feet tall, and just need to get a potato gun to shoot something over them and pull that antenna up. I run a one of the Pelstar AT auto tuners. And so far I haven't found an antenna that will not tune on every band. So
Wow. Nice.
they're really good. Plus they're fully automatic. Memory and everything. So I love that memory. I've got with a hook to the Yaesu. I also have a Alpha 9500, but I haven't had to turn it on, and uh, been able to work anything. Like I said, if I got to turn it up to 200 watts, I do, and so far haven't needed more than that. But I'm on every day. It's one of them things like you said. Joe gets up early, I get up early, and I'm scanning the bands and switch each band as I start to see signals and see what I can pick up. I mean, it's still funny. It's like today I worked Turkey on 12 meters on FT8, and I had not worked it, so I picked up another entity on digital.
Oh,
So
that's funny.
it's just one of those things. You see it, and after having as many DX contacts as I've had, you see the different color on the FT8 screen. You say, "Wow."
So I got hungry I confirmed hungry on 40 meters just a few years ago, and that was the first time I had confirmed hungry. And I was stunned. I thought there's got to be a mistake because we all work, dozen in any contest at all, you're going to work a
Yes.
dozen of those guys, right? But I never had one confirmed, LOTW or anything. So I hear what you're saying. You got it to me, that's part of the fun though. You got to manage all that and keep your eyes on it, and run down to the basement when Hungary's on 160 and, try to get it done. Um, so in addition to DXing, you like building and repairing. So what
Yeah,
is
now
that?
I used to build a lot. I used to build all my own accessories, throughout the years. Did a lot of repairing, but now with the surface mount stuff getting so small,
Yes.
I can't do it. The eyesight's not as good as it was when I was younger, and boy, you got to have a steady hand to pull anything off of a board anymore. You're gonna mess the board up.
Yeah.
So I've probably rebuilt and aligned a dozen or more the old Kenwood TS 940s, 440s, um, some of the early ICOMs. Again, it's with discrete components that you can actually see and test and change. It makes a whole lot of difference. But I had a lot of fun doing that. I'm trying to get away from it. I'm probably going to sell most of my test equipment. I'm 66. I don't want someday for someone to have to sort through a whole bunch of stuff they haven't got a clue what it is, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So when you say you also like to do rag chewing, do you just strike up a
Oh,
conversation somewhere, or do you have nets that you check
during the
into?
day, I'll just go to 40 meters, generally 40 or 20 meters, get up on sideband or even CW. I do a lot on CW also. If you can find someone that's actually uh, doing a full conversation and not just uh, report and move on. But yeah, I still do. And it's funny when I look back, I think it was 2016. I worked Carl, just same thing, just chatting on 40 meters. I was home after a knee surgery and kind of stuck in the house and just sat there, and I think I called CQ on 40 meter sideband, and it was Carl that came back to me. And so we
Really?
just sat and chatted.
Is that right?
Yep.
Huh. Boy, he's a guy, he can go for a while on the right topic.
Yeah, yeah. And that was it, because as soon as I mentioned, I was a DXer, that was it. Things took off from there.
Um,
That's great.
so one of the things that brought me to contact you was the Western Kentucky DX Association. So can you tell us about that?
Well, when I first moved down here to Kentucky in 2017, and like any other time, I've always get on the internet, search for a DX club or even any of the uh, general clubs, and Western Kentucky DX Club come up, and they met at that time about 20-25 miles from where I was living. And I said, well, I'm gonna drive there on their meeting night, and I joined the club that night. A lot of good guys in there, a lot of um, big DXers, contesters, K4 CMS, Larry Smith. He may have been president that first year that I was there, and then his health kind of took a turn. Somebody else took over. I think it was Hank Cantrell, and and again, I think it was just a few years later. Nobody else wanted it, and I says, "Well, I can be president. It's and Gary K4UU has been vice president and helped me a lot when I first took over as president. Now we're strictly DX. There's not really a lot of contesters in the group. I was always a contester in my young years. And again, as work got to where I was working as many hours as I was, I couldn't participate in contesting. It's, I'm in it to win it. And, and I just couldn't do it with the schedule because I was working weekends, you name it. Uh, but we were looking for things to do to talk about DX. We're just kind of running out of things. I did a presentation on QSLing, tried to do one on propagation without getting extremely technical. We had a couple of new members, and I didn't want to go over anybody's head. Just kind of explain, when you go on QRZ, that little box up there gives you a lot of numbers, and this is what you want to look for. And when you see the numbers that are above this and some that are below this, that's when you want to turn that radio on and get on, because there's usually worldwide twice the activity.
We've been just harping to people like, even if you think you might get into DX, there's going to be stuff on in the next couple of years that may not be on again for 20 years.
Yeah.
So you ought to try
Yeah.
to work it now. If you never become a DXer, that's fine. You'll have it. But boy, you don't want to miss these opportunities. So, Brian and I we're the president, vice president of the Southwest Club, and it was kind of the same thing. It's like, you guys want to do this? Well, I guess we can.
Exactly.
It's amazing how many votes you get when you throw your hat in,
Yeah, yeah. Especially from the people who have done it in the past and just don't want to continue to do it.
Yes.
And I think it's good to change to get some different perspective in the club. But I've tried. My thing was I was trying to promote the club to get more membership. We've gotten some membership, but we lost 3 members to Silent Keys in the last 2 years. So we've only brought on 5, maybe 6 new members, and we're trying to look to also get youth involved into it. This is one of the things that I started young. I know you guys started young also. The thing is, there's so much other things for distraction of youth where there wasn't when I know when I was a teenager. Um, ham radio took up a lot of my time. I probably wouldn't have passed chemistry in high school if it wasn't for ham radio, because I had 2 chemistry whizzes I used to talk to on 75 meters every afternoon
Oh, wow.
that just got out of school from down New York City, Long Island area.
So what are some of your thoughts about how to get some youth involved?
Well, we've got to explain what the basics are. What is DX? And I think we're going to get into that pretty good here at the workshop. And what it is. You don't need a lot to get into DXing. I mean, if you want to be a pilot breaker, yeah, you definitely need a little bit better setup. However, with patience and learning the tricks and techniques, and again, that's going to be covered. These are the things that, and when I mention that I'm a ham radio operator to someone that's a teenager, they go, "What's that? What's that?" And they say, "Oh, I can talk to people all over the world," and they hold their phone up and say, "I can do that too." Well, okay. So, I guess you have to try to present it in a way where it's got some fun to it, learning and fun at the same time. And that's ham radio helped me a lot. I mean, I got into electronics very young just because of ham radio.
Yeah, so I have a guy that works for me who has a iPhone 16 Max, I guess it is. And I could have bought, a 7610 almost for
Yeah, so there,
but he
yes, they're
doesn't
on
see
it.
it he doesn't see it that way. It's like, well, I have to have this, but this hobby's expensive. It's like, well, wait a minute. Well,
Yeah.
he's kind of sniffing around that because he spent some time in New Zealand. He's a young kid. He's in mid-20s, but I brought in a bunch of New Zealand cards and were you there? He's kind of interested. And I kind of heard from one of the other guys, he almost bought a shortwave receiver this past weekend up at, there's a flea market up at Caesars Creek. So maybe I can get him to start thinking about it. You got to start slow. Brian, did you have a comment?
Yeah, Bob, so then is the workshop mainly for like newcomers into DX, like trying to raise up their knowledge?
Um, not so much totally green to it, so to
Mhm.
speak, but um, meant as a way to improve skills. Through the years, we all learned. I mean, could shout at a DX station for hours on end until you learned some of the techniques and tried to, put together how are they listening, who are they working, how are they listening, especially on split operation. You we didn't have, any way to learn that other than experience and, when I was in Syracuse growing up, as soon as I had a license to drive, I joined the Salt City DX club, and there was uh, there was a lot of big DXers in there at the time, and some of them still around. Uh, Trying to think of some of the calls, but a lot of them have moved on. Some passed away, but K2TQC, who is one of the top in CQ worldwide standings, and a lot of that. I mean, he's on every day. I see him every day, and uh, every now and then I'll chat with him on CW. He'll be calling CQDX, and I'll answer him, but he knows me still.
Nice.
So,
That he appreciates. So, well,
Yes.
how did the DX workshop come about?
well, again, we were thinking of all these things, and we are trying to do these presentations, and actually it was Jeff Martin that said we need to do something to bring in new members and educate them. And he says, I said, well, run with it. Let's see what can be put together. And uh, several members and him all got together and kind of got this planned out. Starting, boy, I think it started. Talk about it was in late spring. So there's been some planning and what we wanted it to do, and who we could get as guest uh, speakers to help promote this. And boy, we got some of the best. So
So, one thing I found funny, I coached basketball for 16 years, and I could take a child off to the side and say, "You're doing it wrong. You need to do it this way." And the kid will go out and he'll do it. And I can't tell you how many parents have come up to me and said, I said the very same thing. And he doesn't listen to me. And so sometimes there's something about, I mean, there's no doubt that you have as much expertise as any of the speakers. But sometimes they have somebody come in from the outside that just they seem to pay
yeah,
more attention.
yeah,
Or just say it in a slightly different way that people can relate
Yeah.
to, or
yeah.
Yeah, that's exact. So sometimes that's what it takes. So you want to give us some details about the workshop? It really sounds great.
So when we looked at what we wanted to go over, we wanted to definitely go over basics. What is DX? What is the DXCC program? What is how do you actually what antennas? What radio and a lot of that. If you're already licensed in general class or higher, you most likely have everything you need to become a DXer and really chase it. But the operating techniques was one of them. I said, well, that's something that nobody's kind of teaching that anymore, or really talking about it. And so we wanted to do that. And the other thing is, I mean, we just are coming off of one of the best solar cycles we've had in quite some time. Uh, Knowing propagation, what do the numbers mean? Uh, what what does that cycle entail on the upside, downside, things like that. So we wanted to put all that together and then allow plenty of time for questions and answers. And um, so when we started talking about it, we're thinking maybe 4 or 5 hours. We're going to have to stretch this out and put a lunch in there. And a registration cost covers the lunch. There's all kinds of vendors that have supported us on this big time by giving us a lot. So we're putting all that together. We had a kind of a practice set up a couple weeks ago, and we were able to set everything up fairly quickly because the place we're doing it at that library, we've got a half hour to get everything set up to
Oh,
get
wow.
started,
Wow.
and 1 hour to take everything down and just kind of make sure the place is not a mess because we want to be able to use the library facility again if we ever need it.
Hmm.
So we want to leave it as we found it, kind of thing. We got an hour to make that happen.
Yeah.
So I
You're going to
said,
be like
let's,
a NASCAR pit crew.
yeah, and that's what we actually practiced that because literally we moved 22 or 23 tables around and had the tables back where they belong, helping. And then once that was done, I was doing that. I just helped them take we're going to actually have a ham station there, similar to a POTUS
Oh,
setup.
cool.
And hopefully conditions are good and we can actually get some DX on there. And during all of the intermissions that we have, we're going to have that radio kind of cranked up so people can actually hear it.
That's
That's
really cool.
great.
Very cool. So I'm looking at the sheet, and I'll put a link, of course, to your website and to the show notes and all like that. But it is, don't tell me what weekend, October 4th, right?
Yep.
In Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Hmm.
I love the Iron Skillet Court. I had like this instant taste for biscuits and gravy. I got to tell you, Iron Skillet Court.
Nice.
9:30 to 4-ish.
Yeah.
It just looks terrific. You've got handouts and gifts and door prizes and all kinds of great stuff. I think it's really going to be a hoot.
Well,
And go ahead.
like I said, we have 38 signed up already, and we didn't expect that this early. I'm going to be putting out another, on Facebook to a lot of other sites again to promote it, and hopefully also have a link, for this podcast. Because again, I never knew that you had a podcast until this.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of push that too because it's another resource for DXers.
Yeah.
There's so much data. Yeah, it's just overwhelming. I listen to whatever Brian tells me, and that's what I do. I don't do
Right.
any
Yeah. Well.
research. Yeah, he'll say work this guy after me. It's like, okay, I get it.
Yes.
He's
Well, I
gonna
don't even
blaze.
tell you till after I've worked
Wow.
them. So.
Going back to the Western Kentucky, you guys have regular meetings, and is there any virtual component to it?
Now no, we have not. Videotaped anything. It's fairly small, as I said. Right now, I think we've only got 17 members.
Okay.
Um, and we meet monthly on the first Friday of every month at a place called Split Tree Barbecue. It has excellent barbecue
Yeah.
food. So we all show up about an hour early. We eat and talk, and then have the meeting, and hopefully we have something as a presentation. Out of the last meeting, it was more of making sure we had all the ducks in a row for this workshop. So we kind of wanted to make sure that if anybody else needed to do something, we wanted to include them in there. So,
That's great. And is your own club pretty enthused about it?
oh yeah, yeah, and I think I think almost all of our members are going to be there. Myself, I'm bringing a bunch of QSL cards, uh, some of the good ones, like Scarborough Reef.
Mm.
I, I did get that one. I was one of the last contacts they made, but some of the good ones, I'm going to have a bunch of that. Gary K4UU is going to have some of the stuff, his certificates and things. I don't, as I said, because I haven't applied for DXCC, I don't have that certificates or anything, and I can't find my old. What was it, K7BV or whatever it was, it used to publish a um, virtually a book of worldwide awards you could get
Really? Oh,
from all these
K1BV.
different. Is it?
K1BV.
It's K1BV. Okay.
Yep. I
Yeah.
remember that.
And I can't find, I had it in a loose leaf notebook, and I probably had 40 or 50 of those certificates
Wow.
worked through the years. Had worked every one of the Russian oblasts, which were their states.
Yep.
And the last one I didn't get until actually I got it on FT8. Uh, so it was, I didn't start doing anything with FT8 until 2018.
Wow. I
So,
can remember chasing Oblast in junior high and high school and then going into and a lot of times you're up till midnight and 2 a.m. on that was when we're
yeah.
at the peak, right? So you get those watery signals over the pole and you're working. And I can remember going in and telling guys, "Oh my God, I worked into the Soviet Union." Ah, you did not. I said, "Yeah, I did. I talked to these guys behind the Iron Curtain." No, you did. I mean,
Yeah.
no one could just, you and those of us doing it, we really couldn't appreciate and everything had to be sent to PO Box 88 in
Yep.
Moscow. You remember all that? So,
Oh, yeah.
wow, I'm sounding like an old man all of a sudden.
Yeah,
But
I remember sending, because you could send a dozen cards, and I'd wait till I had several cards to send, and it could be years before you get the return card. And the back of the old ARRL logbooks had the list of oblasts
yep,
in there. And so I would, mark it green that I'd worked it, and when I got the card, I just kind of crossed it out. So I knew which ones I'd worked, and I was still looking, to get the cards.
when some of those call signs were squirrely, UZ0 was this, but UZ2 was that, and
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you just work them and sort it out later, right?
yeah. That was it.
Yeah. So Brian, you're a card sorter. Do you get cards that are, old? Like you'll get cards for stations stateside, but some will be several years old?
Yeah, I have gotten a couple that are very old, like like 20 years or something like that. Nothing
Wow.
beyond that. But yeah, yeah, I got just I don't know. I think last year I got some that were very old like that. It was kind of amazing. Yes.
I find
And done on a typewriter. Yes, you could tell that was the other like
yeah,
a long time since I've seen that
yeah,
typeface. And you know how typewriters, just the letters are darker at the top than the bottom and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
typewriters are.
I find myself when I get a box of cards to sort, I end up looking at it. I actually take time to look at them
Oh
and
yeah. No.
I need to work that guy so I can get that card.
Oh yeah, well, and some of them are pretty spicy, so you'll
Yeah,
definitely
they
have
are.
to look at those.
Yeah, maybe I'll bring some of those, Bob. I'll bring
Yes,
some.
yeah.
exactly. Wrap them in a brown paper bag.
Oh, yeah. We'll screen for age at the door. So, well, we're
Yes,
excited.
exactly.
We're going to be there. It's on the fourth, as I said. It's in Bowling Green. I'll put a link to the website so people know how to get there. It's $15, and if you are a 18 and younger, it's 10. And you can't beat that. I mean, heck, the
And
lunch.
includes lunch, right?
Yeah,
Food lunch.
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
that's lunch costs $15. So
And if you pay 20, you get to go over Bob's and help him spackle and stuff.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
learn a new craft.
Before we do that, we're putting tower up.
okay. You should have had a potato gun building. That would have been an interesting seminar to
Yes,
have, right?
exactly.
They did that in one of the clubs. It's about 90 miles from here. It's northeast of Bowling Green. They actually did, and they built a few, but Jeff's got one, and I'm going to get it from him for the snow flies, and we're going to get at least one antenna, if not two, up wires, because it don't look like I'm going to be able to climb this year. I've just like I said, at this point, I'm looking for tower climbers
Yeah.
and going to go that route because I can't trust my grip to go up a tower. I just won't do it.
No, it's not worth it. So are those compressed air fired or what is the propellant that's
Compressed air,
okay?
yeah. You
And so
charge it up. You go down to the tree and the one Jeff's got. The one Jeff's got to shoot 200 feet in the air.
Wow.
I mean, he went all
You
the
need a
way. I
license
mean,
for it.
he did the 5 kilowatt version.
Yes, exactly.
he's got the Henry Radio logo on it.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen a couple somewhere on YouTube, one of those holes that you go down and you use hairspray as the propellant. It's like you spray hairspray into this piece of PVC and you literally light a lighter on top of it.
Oh,
And I wouldn't do that just because that's only going to work once out of 10. The other nine times, it's
well,
not
have you
safe.
guys ever messed with carbide cannons when you were younger?
No.
Yeah, those were fun.
No,
Get a piece of carbide and some water.
we used to do much more stupid things like throw an M80 down a piece of pipe and shoot a potato, and
Nice.
literally it would go 600, 700 feet.
That's great.
What did the comedian say? The worst thing you want to hear is, "Hey, watch this," or
Yeah,
"Wonder what
Yes.
this
yeah.
does," or something. So, well, Bob, did I leave anything out? Anything you wanted to
No,
cover?
I think as I said, I really want to get some younger people involved, and we do have one signed up, but boy, we'd like to see more. Again, that's the best way to promote the learning part of it is get someone who's not that experienced and kind of talk to them afterwards. Did you really get a lot out of this? And if they say, yeah, this may be the first of several of these that we will do. And again, we're going to try to push it over to some of the scouts and things like that. Uh, see if we can't get a few other people that maybe not even licensed yet to at least learn what it is, and it might get them enough interest to get licensed.
Somebody in the club sent out about a month ago a link to the very old um, Ham Radio World or This Is Ham Radio or something, and it was a professionally made video. Did you look at that, Brian, in the 70s?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
had King Hussein of Jordan, and it had Barry Goldwater, it had all these, senators and people. And sometimes I think that would be really effective right now because that's the things that you've heard. I mean, when I tell people, well, Joe Walsh is a ham. Oh my God, Joe
Yes.
Walsh, I know who that is. He's a ham, and this actor was a ham, and
Yeah.
it's just
Well, and
sometimes.
I think something just to show off all the different things you can do, right? I
Yep.
mean, like ham radio is a huge hobby, a lot of different like sub hobbies or whatever. And I mean, even DXing, right? I mean, there's, people that concentrate on different modes and, different, be the DX, do the traveling or do it from home. People want to do it QRP. They want to do it, with simple antennas or whatever. And so there's a lot in what Bill, for a while you were doing it mobile in your car,
Yeah.
right? So there's like a lot of different ways to do it that
Yeah.
can, have people thought about that. So yes.
Our problem is when I worked for Hewlett Packard, we used to laugh and say, if Hewlett Packard ever produced sushi, they would market it as cold dead fish.
Yes, exactly. That is
And
about it,
that's
right?
our problem,
Yes.
and I think we all look at it, we want to use big words and talk about all these great accomplishments, but some 12-year-old kid and his idea of putting up a 60-foot tower, and I mean, that's just it isn't going to happen. So we got to be smarter about how we talk to them. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
well, let's see
Yes.
what we
Make it
can do,
fun.
Bob. Maybe we can get some folks down there, or if you make this an annual event, maybe you can tap into the scout community
Yeah.
and get an ever. Well, hats off to you for trying to do that. That's terrific.
It's great.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it was most of our club members have participated in this, and that, we couldn't have done it with one or two people. We just had everybody kind of pull together and really get this thing rolling. So it's good to see that in a club. It's one of the things that I've been in a lot of clubs, and some just they meet, they have a business meeting, and that's it. And then you've got to, if you're going to promote the hobby, you've got to find ways to do it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. I mean, you got to like demystify it and pass down the knowledge, bringing more people into it. Yeah. Do everything you can.
And I would challenge anybody that's watching us or listening to us, if you've had success with something with getting younger or just tapping into a group of folks that haven't are new, let me know, and I'll spread the word. The dxmentor@gmail.com. I'd be happy to do that. So, well, gentlemen, this has been very enjoyable. Thank you, Bob, and we're looking forward to it. We're going to come
Well,
down there
thanks.
with a whole bunch of questions and QSL cards and hopefully win the door prize and the whole bit. So
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Thanks for the opportunity. Again, without getting the word out, you know, we were just using Facebook, and not everybody gets on it. So
right.
Oh, right.
some people would rather see a video of people explaining and actually talking about it versus just seeing a posting.
That's right. That's right. Well, good
Well,
luck.
so Bill, do you have the email address or sorry, the website address and
Yeah,
we'll put
I'll
it in
put it
show
on there,
notes?
I'll put it in the show notes, but it is, unless Bob can say it off the top of his head.
It's WKDXA.org. And if you put the slash events, it brings you right to the events page, and it's right at the top of that page.
Okay.
I
Cool.
mean, boy, it's jam packed. The first 40 registrants, there's gift bags with goodies, ICOM lanyards and badges, lunch and drinks, completion certificate. And I think that's a big deal. I think the completion certificate's a big deal. They got something to
Yeah,
come away with and say, yeah, I did this. Gigaparts gift certificates, two entries for door prizes. I mean, just a lot of good things that'll make it a fun afternoon.
some
Yeah.
good door prizes. We were very surprised at the vendors that are helping us. It it just I mean, it was box after box that Jeff was getting, and he brought some of them to our mock setup, and boy, there's some good stuff in there. So good. I know there's some DX dinner tickets in there, and
I think
or
so.
or vouchers for them, because I don't think they're
Wow.
available yet. Because if they were, I'd already have mine reserved.
Nice.
Yeah, there's that. I know that. Um, oh my God, the Daily DX. I know Bernie
Yeah,
donated, so a lot of people contributing to trying to get this to. That'd be great. I'm really excited. It'll be fun.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
well, thank you.
7-3. I'll be in touch.
All
Yep.
right,
See ya.
Thanks. 7-3.
have a good evening.
You too. I hope you found that as fun and informative as I did, and I hope you plan on joining us at the DX Workshop in just a couple of weeks. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the DX Mentor. I would like to thank our sponsors, Icom America, the Daily DX, DX Engineering, and the Southwest Ohio DX Association. You won't find anyone more committed to DX than these sponsors. I would also like to thank our guests today, Bob, WB2UBW, and Brian, 88FD. I would love to have your feedback, answer your questions, and provide help with any DX or amateur radio issues that you may have. If you need clarification on something or you just have a question about anything, email me at thedxmentor@gmail.com. And I would especially like to thank you, our listeners and viewers. Without you, there would be no reason to do this. Please drop me a line if you've achieved an all-time new one, receive recognition, or have a DX event that you would like us to mention. We would be happy to do that. If you're enjoying the DX Mentor episodes, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to follow us to get updates on future YouTube and podcast episodes, as well as DX events and DXpeditions, join the DX Mentor Facebook group. 7-3 for this episode, and thanks to my ex-wife Karen for her love and support. I hope to see you in the pile-ups.